Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing slow growth, quote unquote. Let's just dive into it. I thought of making this video after reading a recent article from The Nation, that's nationthailand.com. Article is titled, Thai Economy Poised for Growth in 2024, Fueled by Tourism and Export. Quoting directly, the Thai economy is projected to grow by 2.4% this year and 3.2% in 2024. However, if the impact of the digital wallet scheme is taken into account, the growth rate in 2024 is expected to be around 3.8%, a decrease from the earlier estimate of 4.4%. Well, here's my issue with this whole thing. For those, if you're unaware, if you follow this channel, you probably know I'm not the biggest fan of this so-called digital wallet, this digital money. It isn't really money, it's just designed to track and trace all of the transactions occurring in a given economy. That's really, there's no other definition for it other than that. That's what it appears to be designed to do. First of all, I think it'll have a massively detrimental, if anything, deflationary impact on the economy, because I don't think people are going to use it to the extent that these like economic banking wonks think it will. You know, that I just think people are people, and they're going to say, no, you know, what is it, Gresham's law, good money or bad money drives out good, as they say. People will just not use it, I expect. That said, the other thing that really gets to me is this notion that, again, as we've discussed, this money would be printed, quote unquote, digitally, and then digital chits or tokens would be given to the population to then use only in certain ways. As they discussed it, there's a geographic proximity issue with this. Certain products you can and cannot buy utilizing this quote unquote money. Again, I don't know how you call that money. It's certainly not a currency in any meaningful sense of the word. But that said, my big thing is, and I said this before, money does not create economic benefit. Money is a tool. Currency is a tool used as, if you will, a placeholder in place of barter, in place of actual exchange of value. And when you just print it out of thin air, you're not creating any value. So the question then posed is, how can you have quote unquote growth in an economy if you're not actually creating value? And what it comes down to is, as we've discussed in other videos on this topic, basically the plan is they're going to create this so-called money, which isn't money, and then just sort of hand it out, which I don't even like the notion of a handout particularly. You know, it's the old saying, you know, if you feed a man a fish, or if you give a man a fish, you fed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, you fed him for a lifetime. You know, when I think of handouts, it always just makes me uneasy, the whole notion of a handout. But okay, let's lay that aside. Once this money is handed out, it can only be used in a certain closed circle of the economy. And then on top of that, it can only be used, well, I should say it didn't create new value. So it's just markers being moved around that allow for taxation on a more transparent level. It's just moving stuff around, and the act of moving things around allows for the government to tax the transactions. That's all that's really occurring. No new value is created. Okay? So that's my point. When I say, you know, when they talk about, oh, growth, well, how can you have growth just by printing something? You're not growing the economy. You're just printing more money, and people are moving stuff around that they otherwise wouldn't have, because, quite honestly, there wasn't the economic impetus, the natural economic impetus to do so without the inducement of the fake money. And then the act of moving that stuff around just results in more taxable events. Again, how is that growth? To my mind, that's kind of the antithesis of growth, if anything. In a way, it's extractive of the overall economy. So again, that's just sort of one man's opinion, but again, I think it's worth noting, you know, they keep talking about these words like value and growth, and, you know, the economy will grow by X amount. Well, is it really growing under that scenario?